I want to point out a Caitlin Clark contradiction to start things here because so much of the talk around Caitlin Clark is not what Caitlin Clark is about. Caitlin Clark is about basketball, right? And Cheryl Miller came out and discussed some of the narratives that surrounded Caitlin Clark in her rookie season on the All the Smoke podcast. And of course, it's like people are addicted to talking about the stuff that isn't basketball, even though Cheryl made some great points about Caitlin Clark, the basketball player, called her underrated defensively, which stood out to me. And then also talked about how her talent surprised even her, the way she was able to see the floor, a thinker of the game. And I have said that is the biggest difference maker for Caitlin Clark when you're evaluating her. Yeah, there's the logo threes and everything, but she sees the floor as well as anyone who's ever played the game, man or woman. And that's really what separates her more than anything. I mean, you've heard Coach K wax poetic about it, all those things. It's why the Fever are going to be so dangerous with all the additions that they've made, because Clark is the catalyst for that. And it's funny, since all the talk is sometimes elsewhere, when even when we see Clark away from basketball, at least away from playing basketball, it's almost always about basketball. She's either, having workout footage shared by the Indiana Fever or at a basketball game. You can't say the phrase ball is life doesn't apply to Caitlin Clark. And I've always said it's the basis of her popularity. Even if, she might be on the phone or something like that when she's at a basketball game, that has happened. We have seen Caitlin on the phone. There she is with Connor McCaffrey at the last Big East appearance that Clark made. They're locked in on the phones. Now, in fairness to Connor, his father was fired from Iowa the same day, so he might be intently reading news about that. And then also, what's funny about it is, for everybody who's saying, anything, we don't know what point of the game that was, and everybody who's saying something is on their phone, like typing it. We're all guilty of that, of course, in today's day and age. I always feel bad when my kids tell me to put my phone down. But these are the Cheryl Miller comments I'm talking about, and it's just hilarious to me the amount of attention that was spent on one aspect of it. And I know it's more sensational, but you'll get the difference of what I'm talking about right here.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a Black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised.
Mm-hmm.
And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
Right.
And Angel and her got along so well, and watching them practice. And yeah, just get it. And Caitlin's like, just fly, and watching her pass. And I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version. Thinker, defensively a lot better than I thought and gave her credit for. So watching her and just spending a little time. And one thing, guys, that I've learned is to step back and let these kids be themselves. Look, I speak when I'm spoken to. I'm not sitting up there knocking on anybody's door, offering my advice, because I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be social media, Instagram this. I don't know what it's like to be bombarded and have to be the breadwinner in the family and be a brand and be worried about what I do or say and everything else, or 24/7 being pulled in so many different directions and not knowing. Throw in the fact that if I'm insecure, if I've got my own mental issues going on, who do I talk to? I don't regret being born when I was.
I played those comments before, but I thought they were worth circling back to the basketball aspect of it. And then also, Cheryl Miller, again, she had her own things that she had to fight through in her time, which she referenced there, obviously, but talking about being a Black woman coming up in basketball during that day and age. But there was the other things she didn't have to deal with. So I thought her perspective on that was kind of refreshing. And I thought her perspective and overall enthusiasm is exactly where someone should be. Praising the basketball game, trying to ignore the BS. And as she said, the narrative wasn't the truth. So why is it always the thing that is pushed? Write that narrative, no matter what. It's like a knee-jerk reaction, an instinct. Some of these folks online, that as soon as they get any morsel of culture war to try and throw into the basketball discussion, they chew it up and spit it out and chew it up again like they're feeding baby birds. It's, aggravating sometimes. Anyhow, the gym aspect of Caitlin Clark was also shared by Patrick Beverley, former NBA player, of course, who's known for his penchant for talking and personality. And I thought this anecdote was interesting because I believe the experience he's talking about was in reference to when Caitlin Clark was in New York. So even when she was on the road, she was finding a gym.
Right. NBPA basketball gym. Right?
Okay, the Players Association.
Players Association. They gave us a gym that I paid for, not entirely, but they took money out of my check and I paid for it.
You better get the fucking full usage of that.
Man, I got hot tub, cold tub, weight room, full court basketball room. I walk in today, I'm on one side working out, Caitlin Clark on the other side.
Really?
I look at myself, there you go, 2 fucking legends, Patty.
Did you say what's up?
I say what's up, but I'm not the type to say what's up to interrupt your workout because I don't like people to interrupt mine. She can shoot the shit out of it.
And the WNBA assist leader this past year.
She can shoot the shit out the ball.
She's a great shooter.
And she's one of those workout people, got to think, anytime I hit the court, I got to hit that bike. I'm older now, so I got to get on that bike and stroll for a couple 5, 6, 7 minutes. So while I'm strolling through the park, I'm looking at her shoot it. And she's one of those shooters where if as a gym rat, you guys know, like, damn, bro, why you throw that pass bad? Give me the ball in my chest. I'm like, oh, she's a gangster also.
She's lighting people up.
Throw me the ball the way I want it.
What drill was it? What drill was she running?
I don't know. She was doing a 2 in a row corner wing. And if you miss, you have to go back to the next spot. And if you missed again, you have to go back to the starting spot. She had a nice drill. I'm literally still in it.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it.
Was she shooting what out of it?
The face of the league.
Agreed.
Everybody knows that last part. That's just funny to me. Hearing him say that, and then it makes me think of I don't know, I'm a big rap hip hop fan. I don't know too many Lil Wayne lines that stand out individually, but one that has stood the test of time is Real G's moving silence like lasagna. And that certainly applies to Caitlin Clark, who doesn't get caught up in any of the nonsense, except for when she's like forced to address it. And just continues to do her work quietly, all about her business. We've seen her put on the strength clearly in the offseason. We've seen her in the lab in the offseason. Other people have seen her in the lab in the offseason. In fact, the only time I've seen her doing anything else, she's playing golf, she's doing a speaking engagement, or she's at a basketball game. So Caitlin Clark, as I've always said, her popularity is about basketball, and she is about basketball.